Well, if you would introduce yourself.
Okay, my name's Andrew Rudolph.
And what are you working on?
This is my power racer. It's called Drifty Monster. It's blue and furry, and it looks like the Cookie Monster, kind of. Got big googly eyes, and we'll throw that on later. But yeah, I made it in about 3 weeks last year, leading up to the Maker Faire, and entered it into the race, actually 2 years ago now. Entered into the race and I won overall, so that was kind of exciting. Basically, it is a scooter I bought off of eBay, like a ride-on off-road electric scooter. So that's the front end of it with the back end of it all bolted together. So it's the front fork with the rear end, it's a hub motor. Welded up the chassis, and battery sits back here, so it's front wheel drive. It goes really fast in a long track, but it's not that long of a track when we race. So this year I came in 3rd overall, so that was kind of cool. And now it's kind of abused and wet because we had rain this year, so I've been just kind of doing some maintenance before we do some demos with it next month.
So is this the sort of thing you like to do with your spare time, or are there other things you do with the space?
I do a lot of stuff with the space. I don't have a ton of spare time, I guess, but I mentor a bunch of FIRST robotics teams and help run events, FTC, FRC, volunteer at tournaments, help run the tournaments, do video, AV, all that. So that's what most of my spare time goes. So this is the other spare time.
So why do you do what you do?
Mentoring FIRST teams, I do it because it's to give back to that community and try to inspire kids to become engineers and all that. This is because it's fun, and everyone wants to do a little boy racer kind of thing. It's cheap, so why not? But otherwise, I very much enjoy showing other people how to do things. So like I built this. And then this was the inspiration for the one that we're building in the space, after showing how you could build one pretty quickly and cheaply and simply, that you don't have to go crazy and spend a whole bunch of money and over-engineer the thing. You can just kind of slap some stuff together and go out and have fun with a bunch of people. So,
where did you learn how to do this?
Life. Let's see. I always grew up building stuff with my dad, I guess, and then I had a job fabricating some stuff for home theaters when I was in high school, and then I went to school for industrial design, where you learn a lot of the skill set that you use in the makerspace is kind of what you do when you're in design school. Design studio is 3D printer, laser cutter, welding, cutting, grinding, woodwork, model making, all that stuff. So I guess a lot of it came from that, but I had experience outside of school as well. And then just playing, pick a project and teach yourself the skill. So like when I was 14 years old, I wanted to learn how to weld, and there was a welders at my dad's shop and in the back corner, and I decided, well, I want to learn how to weld, so I made a big steel trebuchet and just start welding and throwing stuff together. So I was lucky to have access to it and didn't kill myself, because the auto body shop across the street, the guy would come over and he'd show me some things here and there and make sure I wasn't doing anything stupid and move on from there. But yeah, you can watch a lot of YouTube videos and learn stuff too.
All right, so what kinds of skills does somebody have to have in order to start doing the kinds of things that you do?
Have to have just the drive to want to do it. I mean, there's nothing like overly complex on this. On this one, there's nothing like overly complex other than just, the drive to really want to do it and find people who can help you with it. Sure, you could say you need to weld, but you could certainly build it with just drilling and bolting things. I guess you'd have to have some kind of electromechanical mindset, because that's what it is. But it's not. To me, it's not like a super far out. No one could do it unless you know how to weld, because that's the fun of it, is that you're not going to die if something goes wrong. It's just, you might fall and like scrape your knee. So.
So what would you say to people who are interested in maybe starting in on some of this stuff, but maybe are a little intimidated about a space like this?
Don't be intimidated because the people are amazing. Everyone's generally willing to help out in the makerspace. Like I said, if you want to learn, there's odds are there's someone who wants to teach you. That's what I found at most makerspaces, at least ours in particular. We try really hard to do that, be inclusive, and that's kind of the point. Is you can spend a little money to get access to a space, and you can decide if you like doing these things. Like, if you think you might want to weld and make your own little electric go-kart thing, you can go to a makerspace for $50 a month or whatever and use their welder and stick some pieces of steel together, and someone can show you how to do it. And if you don't like it, or you know, decide that you're not good enough at it, well, keep trying or have someone else help you. There's the whole point of the community is it's all about support, and everyone can do everything. If you find the right people to help you, that's what it comes down to. It's the whole point of the community, really, is I think to help everyone.
Is there anything in particular in this space that you were not expecting to learn but learned from working with others?
From this space, I mean, let's see. I don't think there's anything I wasn't expecting to learn, because since I've been here from the start, it's been like finding people. I guess I've learned more about stitching and embroidery in the last week that we've had that machine out there than I've ever used before. Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately haven't been able to take advantage of some of the classes because of my schedule, but I was really disappointed that last week they did like a foam props class that I thought looked like that would have been really fun to learn how to do that. I don't know, I guess the unexpected part is the fact that how many people really like to help. I always sometimes feel like there's a lot of people out there who are selfish and don't want to help, but it's not that way at all. So.
All right, and the big question, who is and who isn't a maker? Who belongs in a space like this?
Who belongs in a space? I guess it's anyone who wants to get off their ass and do something. I think if you have the desire to learn something, generally speaking hands-on, like if you want to do something with your hands and you want that satisfaction, you should come to a makerspace. If you just want to sit at home and play video games, then probably I don't know if you'll get anything out of coming to a makerspace, or if you don't want to interact with other human beings, you might not like it. But generally speaking, if you like to do things, or you want to learn how to make something, or you want to learn how to have some sort of skill, it's a makerspace where you want to go.
Alrighty. Is there anything you'd be interested in learning as I go to other makerspaces? About how they do things, or what they're working on, or?
I mean, I'm always interested in what people are doing, because it's just cool to see all the projects and the creative things that people do. I'm always interested in how people teach the tools and how they maintain, or they teach the tools for sure, but also just like how they track who knows how to use things and so on and so forth, as far as, oh, this person's good at the laser, this person can do that. Just because I feel like that's a struggle of having a simple hierarchy of how to make sure people are doing stuff that they should be. But I think the curriculum is really interesting, especially when you research it, how many people have made their own creations to do the same thing. Like, how do you teach a laser? That's always, I find that interesting whenever I talk to people from other spaces, is how they track and do that.
All right, and is there anything I haven't asked that you think needs to be said?
I don't think so. I guess one of the things I didn't mention is I have a YouTube channel that we do robot in 3 days. We build an FRC robot in 3 days, and we do an FTC robot in a weekend. So I get my fix for doing FRC robots that way.
And what was the name of that?
Robot in 3 days with the number 3. Yeah, we just finished our robot. I just realized I didn't put the right spacer in. We just did our robot. It was first weekend of January or so. And it's a pretty successful channel. We've got 4,000 followers, something like that, subscribers.
That's many times more than I have.
Yeah. Well, so where that came from was basically there's 3 friends of mine that we used to mentor teams together. And Dan, one of the 3 of us, was having a girl, a child, and he realized, oh, I'm not going to have enough time to mentor a team full time. So he's like that. The year before, we built like a shooter, like a single component for a robot. Did it over the first weekend of the build season, and it did well. It got like 3,000 YouTube hits, say. And then he's like, oh, you know, that was really successful. I don't think it's a whole lot more to take that shooter and like put it on a drive base and drive it around. I think we can do it over a weekend, a long weekend. So Robbie, one of the 3 of us, has a pretty nice machine shop in his shed at his house. So the first year we did it, and the shed is like 12 feet by 10 feet. I mean, it's tiny. And it's got like a milling machine and a lathe in it, and then like some sheet metal tools. And basically, like the 3 of us in there is like all the space that'll fit. Like we succeeded. Like the robot worked really well, and like we had, I don't know, 40,000 hits on the first video that we did the first year. And then because of that success, a bunch of other people wanted to do it. Year in, year out, we keep doing it, and now we're up to, I think we had 13 teams this year. First weekend of January, they unveiled the game, and from that day, you have 6 weeks for the high school students at least to build the robot, and we just do it in 3 days and do videos the whole time while we're doing it. And it's successful. I mean, pretty much every video we do, we get some pretty good hit counts, and it went from us mentoring, I don't know, you know, 30 kids on a team, say. Oh yeah, there's a security timer on there. It's a energy savings. So it went from us being able to mentor like 30 kids to being able to mentor thousands of kids, because there's a lot of robotics teams out there that there's like a physics teacher who got a grant for $5,000 to build a robot, and they have no idea how to build a robot. And we just said, we know it's not that hard for people who've done it before. So we said, well, we'll just show a video of what you could do. And everyone took that and said, oh, look, like they can do that. We can just do that, but we could do it better. And people tell us, like, it's interesting because the first year, it was like 95% people saying thank you, and like 5% of people are like, you're ruining it, you're like stifling the creative process and all this stuff. And like through the years, it's gotten more and more where people are just like, thank you for like raising the bar, because it used to be a team was successful if its robot moved, and now it's a robot can move and you can shoot and score points and all that stuff. So it's very satisfying. And it's amazing because it's not just top level teams that say thank you, or bottom level teams, it's like the top level teams will be like, thank you. I mean, it used to be awful where we'd show up and we'd go to a regional and there's only 2 robots that can move, and now we show up and we get to play robot, and it's really fun. So it's very satisfying. Get that many people excited about it. And so that skill set was rapid prototyping. That's just learning how to build stuff really fast. So like I said, I built this cart in 3 weeks. And comes from building things, learning how to build things efficiently, I guess.